Going to be talking about is how to quit your job and never look back. Sound fair? I don't know if you can hear my watch, but I need to address this in the beginning because if not, you guys are going to be like, what is on your arm? And you're not going to be able to think about any of the words coming out of my face, right? So I do need to make sure that you know what the heck is going on. If you saw my post yesterday on my Facebook page, I am in severe withdrawals from Starbucks coffee, and I know that sounds crazy. I know it sounds bonkers. I know what it sounds like. If you read that post, you'll understand why and all of that, right? Anyway, I'm doing everything humanly possible to reduce my withdrawal symptoms because I still have things to do. And I don't want to feel like that all day today because I have a lot going on right now. Anyway, this is a watch that I use. It's a frequency watch, right? And so it's kind of like, I can't remember what the thing is called. It's like a big machine that basically it sends frequencies into your body that creates like a healthy environment. And it's not like woo woo, it's real, like it's science, right? And anyway, I have it on migraines for today, but it's something that I use every month just to do like cancer stuff, like anti-cancer stuff. I do it once a month, but somebody was like, shouldn't you put your watch on yesterday? And I'm like, oh, I should. I always forget to. Anyway, I put it in the comment section in case you want to check it out. It is something that has changed our world as a family completely. It's crazy. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that because that's not what this video is about. The video is about how to quit your job and never look back. I just didn't want you looking at this like, is that a new Apple Watch that is like a big screen? No, it's not. It's not. It's a frequency thing. Anywho, so my goal in this video is for you guys to, whether you are still at your job and don't want to be, or if you're not at your job and you're in that weird phase of, is this working or do I need to go back to work? There's that phase. Or you're in the phase of, this seems to be working. I certainly hope I don't have to go back. Like there's like those three different phases. And then whenever you take off, you're kind of just like, you're just out there, right? And basically I've been joking around and saying, I'm just unemployable at this point. Like I cannot be employed because I cannot be wrangled. I cannot be like, I'm just not that girl anymore. You have me work for somebody else and I'm going to end up taking over your marketing department, you know, like it's just not, I'm not employable. I can't do it anymore. But, which is, I mean, that's good. It's a good thing. But, I want you guys to be able to put into perspective where you're at and the road forward. Okay. In phase 2 to 3. I see you. So whenever I quit my job was 2016. And I know some people are like, wait, I thought you've been doing this a lot longer than that. I haven't. I've been doing this since 2016. So whether you think because we've hit, you know, the heights that we've hit with our business or whatever, that I've been doing it longer, I want you to have good clarity around the fact I haven't. It's only been since 2016, and that's really when we started, okay? That's when I started on my own. So 2011 is when I started working at GoDaddy, and then I moved into leadership there, and I was there for about 5 years, right? Now, as I was at GoDaddy, I did start dabbling in some things, and I want to address that because I want complete transparency and clarity around my own journey because success leaves breadcrumbs, right? It leaves clues, is what people say. And it really does. If you find somebody that is successful in the way that you want to be successful, right? So what I mean by that is they're not successful by ripping people off, or they're not successful by, you know, messaging 100 people a day, or they're not successful by stealing stuff from other people. They're not successful by like doing that sort of malarkey, but they're successful in a way that you feel like you could do it as well. Like where they, you know, for us, I have plenty of family time, right? I just had it a second ago. I've got plenty of, well, we're moving where we want to move because it's, people will say, well, why are you moving there? Well, there's a couple reasons, but the main one is just because we want to. We just want to, you know, it's not for a job or anything like that. Nobody really holds our reins, so to speak. Nobody, you know, like if you look at a horse and its reins and the rider directs the head and really the will of the horse, we don't have anybody holding our reins. You know, we do what we feel called to do, and we have the freedom to be able to do that. And so you determine who you want to follow, and then you look at their breadcrumbs. You look at the clues to their own success, right? And so at GoDaddy, whenever I was still there, that's when I actually started. Hey, Denise, I see you. That's when I actually started affiliate marketing. So when you guys hear me beating the drum of affiliate marketing, it's not because it's a new jazzy concept and everybody's talking about, you know, like this world is a really funny one, but it's not because of that. It's because it's literally what I did back in 2012 is when I really started it. It's because it's what I did back then that stepped me up to be able to make other decisions in my life, right? And so, so affiliate marketing is always what Denise said, I'm at work right now. I'm putting you up, girl. I'm putting you up. They won't see this video. It's fine. They won't be watching this video. Your manager won't watch it unless they do. Anywho, I don't know. I take it back. Let's pull it on. Let's pull it back. Pull it back. So that's why I suggest affiliate marketing, is because it literally is what we started to do first. Now, we also did some other interesting things while I was still at GoDaddy. We started a dog walking company, which still exists. We also started a magazine. Get that, right? A print magazine. It was called Iowa Pets. And basically what we did is we put... Mike and I started volunteering at some animal shelters, and what we realized is that the animals, it was always the same. It was just these same animals all the time, which meant that they weren't being adopted, right? And so my marketing mind was like, well, they're not being adopted because people don't know they're here, or because people haven't associated a story with them. Right? They come in, they look at a dog, they see a dog in front of them, and they judge based on that. Well, I mean, any animal person is going to say you can't judge a dog by just looking at it, right? Just coming in as it's in trauma, right? Because they're in trauma when they're in there. People take good care of them, and God bless them for doing that. But the pets are in trauma when they're in there, right? And so what we did with that magazine is we actually, in the center, that is like the centerfolds. They were centerfolds. That's weird. But we would create like stories around the pets that were in the different shelters in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. That's where we lived at that point. And we had something like it's like over 90% of the pets were adopted every single month. So when we went to, or I think it was bi-monthly, every time we would print a new magazine, most of the pets from the last one had been adopted, right? Well, printing a magazine is very, very expensive, by the way. Very expensive, like very expensive. And what we had to do is we had to end up selling sponsorships and selling ads in this print magazine in order to be able to keep it running. We were making no money off of it. It was just even Steven, right? But that's how we really were cutting our teeth in being able to sell in that space, sell from an impact-driven place. And that was it was excellent training ground for us, because print media is very expensive. It's expensive. It's expensive to produce, which means it's expensive to run ads in also. Okay, so anyway, that was in when we still worked at GoDaddy. So we were producing this magazine, and we still were I was still at GoDaddy at that time. So we're kind of like starting to do things. It wasn't any of our like big stuff, but I want to address this because the day that I got the day, it was February, it was early in February 2016. I got a video from Mike of Nora, our baby, taking her very first steps. I won't go into all of the story because it'll take up all the video and I don't want to do that. But understand, I'm a mom and I just got a video of my only kid, my only girl, taking her very first steps. And it was, right? Like it destroyed me. Because it took us a long time to even be able to have her. I thought I was doing the right thing and climbing the corporate ladder. And in that moment, I realized I was about to miss it all in pursuit of what I thought was the right thing, of what the world tells me is the right thing, right? And in that moment, I decided I was going to quit my job. Absolutely no safety net. And that meant all of the difference in the world. I hesitate to say this to people because I don't want for everybody to just fly out the proverbial window and say, all right, let's go, and then and move in that fashion. But nothing really, really worked well, like gangbusters well, until it had to. I need you to hear me. Nothing really worked super well until it had to. And then it continued to do that over and over and over again. And we've never had to look back. We don't have the moments of, do we need to go get a job? We don't, that's not even a thing anymore. But it started with jumping out the proverbial window with no safety net. You might be like, Martha, you quitting your job isn't that big of a deal. No? Let me tell you the rest of the story. I had already brought Mike home from work, which is why he was taking the video of Nora taking her first steps. Okay? He was starting up the dog walking company, right? His parents, we had all just gotten a house together, right? Because his dad had lost his job at like the bus place where he worked. And at that age, you don't go get a new job. And so we got this really like expensive house that had 2 kitchens and, 2 families could really coexist there easily and that sort of thing. And that was primarily on me. I had the insurance on our family covered through my job. Quitting my job wasn't just flippantly quitting my job. It was completely turning the faucet off to any income coming into my family. Now, if that ain't a time that you have to make something work, I don't know what is. And so don't look at me like, oh my gosh, she's done so much and da-da-da-da-da, she's so great. Like, don't look at me like that. I'm simply a girl that said, yes, I'll jump out the window and I'll figure it out on the way down. We will make something happen because something has to happen. I will not allow this to be my life, period. I choose a different life. That's what it is. And is it scary as heck? You better believe it. You better believe it's scary. You better believe that I was like totally freaked out in that very first month, in those first couple of weeks, as I'm like driving to coffee shops, because I somehow had romanticized going to coffee shops, right? Where I was driving to coffee shops and I'm like, here's where you work. And then, eventually I'm like, Martha, you're not going to find clients in a coffee shop. Now, today maybe I could because I'm a different version of myself today than I was then. But then I did not have all of the everything that I have right now to be able to just, I could find a client in a coffee shop today, right? Because I could talk to him about things that I do. I've got, proof and results and blah, right? But then what I was doing is I was kind of just, for those first couple weeks, I was kind of waiting for that magic person to walk up to me and say, hey, can we work together? And the reality is that does not happen. And so when that romanticized version of like being an entrepreneur fails for people, because it will fail for everybody, because magic doesn't happen, okay? Whenever that fails for people, they think they're wrong and they think they're a failure, and then they go back to work thinking they can never have this life. In reality, what you need to do is you need to find somebody who is doing what you want to do in the way you want to do it, and not giving up things in their life that you also don't want to give up. And you need to follow that person, and you need to learn from that person. Successful people love to make other people successful. I'm proof. Successful people love to make other people successful. If you see me on an HBR call and people are touting out their wins, which they do, I am like a kid in a candy store, because I know their lives are about to change. I know their belief has changed. I know their confidence has changed. I know their swagger changed a little bit. I know the way that they posture and the way that they show up is different, which then creates new and different results. All of this changes. And when that changes, you guys, the whole rest of your life starts changing. Because now you become available for the things that you're designed for, right? And so that was the first point of what I wanted to talk about in my video. There was lots of, you know what, I'm gonna make this a series. This will be the second video I'm gonna do tomorrow, because obviously this is gonna end up being an hour-long video. I'm not gonna do that. I love you guys. Part 2 of this video will be tomorrow. Adios.